All right, what's up, everybody? How we doing? Happy Friday. I am somewhat back. I'm gonna take a minute and get some people on here and do what we usually do. So stand by to stand by. Hope everybody's having a good week. Let's share this out if you can, please. So, how's everybody doing? How's your week? It's been crazy. Lots of travel. Lots and lots of travel. It's good to kind of be back doing a show because I know last weekend or last week kind of cheated it being in Austin, and this week we are in Clearwater, Florida. Right now, I'm in the hotel. Weather's nice. Got in early yesterday, so we kind of go over last week for me and what it's been. A lot of travel. So I went from Austin to uh, Enterprise, Alabama, or Fort Rucker, or Fort whatever they call it now. um, Stayed there and then got into Clearwater, drove down to Clearwater yesterday, a couple days early. We're here this weekend for the Salute to American Heroes put on by Orange County Chopper Roadhouse and Museum and the MAG. It is the second annual Salute to American Heroes. We'll get into that a little bit more, but it's going to be an awesome event. We got keynote speakers, Gold Star families that are going to be recognized. We got musical guests. Our buddy Dave Bray, USA, is going to be here. Jesse G is a military spouse. She's going to be here as well. And a slew of other celebrities that are going to be coming down. That's going to be Sunday night. And like I said, I'll get into that here in just a little bit. So excited to be here. It's been a heck of a road traveled. Summer for me is officially over now that I've got Little Bird set up for his master's program, and he's getting going. Um, there, it was nice to kind of get back on the road and head, east. Being stuck in the central time zone for so long, it's nice to be back in the right time zone, Eastern time zone, right? T Dog, what's up, brother? I appreciate you watching from the gym. Try not to stumble. And if you're on the treadmill, run an extra mile. One for me, please. Thank you. So I titled this week Heroes Weekend, like I said, because this weekend is a salute to American heroes. So um, let's go ahead and kind of get started on some of the shows because we got to. I think I finally got something lined up for you guys this weekend. We're going to talk about some news headlines that I saw this week. I'll talk about the event. Plus, I have an announcement to make. We got two new shows that have joined Heroes Media Group. And I want to talk a little bit about each of those shows. One is live right now, and you can find all the shows by simply going to heroesmediagroup.com. So it's great. I'm loving it. And we got two more shows coming up in September. It's actually three. We count one this month. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get started. And I'm on my laptop. So Instagram peeps, if you leave a comment, I'll check them here in a little while because I need to pull up my notes. So the first news headline that I saw this week: two military academies permanently drop race-based admissions. Merit prevails, it says. T-Dog, just listening, actually. Well, I appreciate you listening. Uh, The United States Military Academy at West Point and the U.S. Air Force Academy will permanently end race-based admissions. The Justice Department earlier this week reached the settlement with the Students for Fair Admissions, resulting in the dismissal of 2 lawsuits challenged affirmative action policies that at these institutions. Attorney General Pam Bondi stated that the admissions should be based, quote, exclusively on merit, end quote, not on race or ethnicity. I could see where this is going to go, and there's going to be a lot of uproar on this. I think I could be wrong. Shouldn't stuff like this be on merit to begin with? But then there's going to be arguments. Well, some people have this, that, and the other thing, and there'll be arguments all across the board. I'm sure of it. The argument, however, ensures that future cadets will be selected through a truly colorblind process. U.S. Attorney Jay Clayton called the outcome a reaffirmation of America's commitment to equal opportunity, effort, and the level playing field. This shift follows an earlier resolution affecting all 3 service academies. The U.S. Naval Academy previously ceased considering race or sex in administrations. It's one of those things where it's like, I can't believe we're having this conversation or this topic. Why is race or sex an issue? It should be on the merit of the person if they're qualified. We want the qualified people in those positions, do we not? And if you're not qualified, you want somebody. Again, arguments here, both sides. What are you guys' thoughts on this? And I'm going to stick with the military side of it because I saw an interview, and I'm not sure when the interview was. I saw it on social media where Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, they're talking about bringing back the shark attack at basic training units. Now, I had forgot they got rid of it several years ago. And for those that don't know, shark attack, it's like, you go your first day of basic training, there's a bunch of drill sergeants. They nicely single file you off the cattle trucks and welcome you to basic training in a manner that is a bit chaotic. So it's funny that they took away the shark attack, quite frankly. And I don't, I think they should. Do I think they should bring it back? Yeah, I do, because I went through it, and I think most guys I know here, Ken, John, what's up, cowboy? How you doing? Ken, good morning, brother. I appreciate you as always jumping on. I know you guys went through shark attacks during basic training. Should they bring it back? Yeah, I think they should. I think, in the military, everybody's like, oh, they're brainwashed, they're this, they're that. It's merely you're breaking a person down and you're building them back up to the way that you want them to be or need them to be. And a part of that is just instilling discipline in them as well. You want them to think in a chaotic position or during a chaotic time. When they took away the shark attack, I remember reading, this was brought up during the Vietnam era, not my words, theirs. And you had a lot of draftees that were in, so they used the shark attack to get the draftees in line. And it's kind of funny that I'm even bringing that up because it reminds me of a book, and I'm pulling it up here. That's why I'm looking off here. It's called About Face by Colonel David H. Hackworth. If you have not read that, and I'll put it in the comments after the show, but this is a great book. Colonel David Hackworth, amazing individual. He talks a lot about Vietnam and that time frame, and he talks about the training during that era, during the 60s and early 70s, and what it was like. And he brought up the shark attack back then, actually. So it was Nice. Let's hear Ken. Ken says when he went to boot, they could put hands on. Yeah. See, when I went, they you couldn't do hands on, but it was very verbal. I remember you could say at that time you could say anything you wanted to. You just couldn't physically. Well, I shouldn't say that. I don't remember, Ken. That's a good point. I definitely know my drill sergeants that I had when they went through basic training. It was it was definitely hands on. So I'm bringing back the shark attack. I think that's a good call. I'm sure there's going to be modified versions of it, like you can't put hands on, but you verbally say what you need to say, or a drill sergeant can say what they want to say. I don't see anything wrong with that. I think over the years, I think it's gotten soft. The military's gotten soft. John, the first time a DI got in my face, I burst out laughing. How'd that end for you, John? How did that end for you? Now, funny story, true story. So I went, I'm dating myself. I went in 98 and I went to Fort Leonard, and we were the second class of trainees to go through in a co-ed. So I had a co-ed unit because I was a truck driver. And I remember hearing stories of the first training class I went through, and they had set up the barracks like one room. You remember in the barracks you had the halls. So you had one room was males. The next room on the same floor were females. And then it alternated. That was the first class. My class went through, it was the males. All the females were in the basement, and all the males were up on the top floors or whatnot. And when we got there, everybody was wondering like how many, why all these girls were pregnant. Whose idea was it to put males and females on the same floor during basic training and expect? I don't know. T-Dog, combat arms need the shark attack. Non-combat arms, I can see arguments for both sides. Ken, yeah. Yeah, I don't feel young, Ken. I don't feel young. T-Dog says the shark attack sets the tone for what's coming. Looking back on it, it wasn't, going through it sucked because you were just like, holy shit, I've never gone through anything. Why is this guy yelling at me? I haven't done, it doesn't matter. And it gets you thinking, do this, do that, drop this, drop that, whatever. And you got 10 people in your face. I remember at one time I had 5 drill sergeants around me, and like one person put the bag down. And there's a guy over here, pick it up, put it down, pick it up. And you're like, what the hell you want me to do? But it set the tone, and I agree. I think this is a good thing. I know a lot of people aren't. There's some people I know that are not happy about it. But in the interview, when you listen to Secretary of Defense Hegseth say, we're trying to bring order back into the military, and we're trying to train those that want to be trained and that are there to protect each and every one of us and the nation. So, again, I think this is a good move, bringing back the shark attack during basic training. No holding hands, no this kumbaya crap. The other thing is, I think, put the phones away too. I've heard in recent years kids have their phones, and and here's the other thing. When you're doing the shark attacks, the drill sergeants need to stay in line with training and set boundaries with it, but don't set them so weak to where everybody is like, hold my hand, and we don't want that either. We want to strengthen our military. We should want a strong military. So that's my 2 thoughts on the bringing back the shark attack. I found that to be interesting, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens moving forward with with that. I guess here's another one. I didn't put this in there, but I'm going to bring this up anyway because something else I remember was I know they're doing a lot of cuts in the military, and I go back to this the book that I mentioned by Colonel Hackwith. It's called About Face. Colonel David Hackwith. He talked about, David Hackwith was an infantry officer. He started off in the enlisted, and then he worked his way into on the officer. So he started off enlisted, ended up becoming an officer, and was an infantry officer and several other branches and whatnot. But one of the things that he talked about in the book was, what they called paper punching, and a lot of these guys didn't care so much about the troops. It was more or less what they could do to advance their career. A lot of watching out for themselves kind of a thing. And I think I bring that up because that's something that I felt the Secretary of Defense now had said, we're getting rid of a lot of generals and a lot of staff officers of the higher rank that have created positions for themselves just to advance their career, and had nothing to do with the advancement of military or the troops on the ground or new trainees or anything like that. I also think that's a good move. I think you don't want too many generals. I think you want more enlisted personnel and probably lower ranking staff officers to build. It's going to be very interesting to see over the next 3 years how the military rebuilds itself. Again, just my 2 cents on that. So, all right, let's move on to the next one. This one I found very interesting. Children protected as court upholds state's ban on gender changes. I've talked about this in the past when it first was brought up, but now the Federal Appeals Court ruled that laws prohibiting child sex change surgeries do not violate parental rights. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Eighth Circuit ruled 8-2 that Arkansas's Save Adolescents from Experimentation Act, or SAFE, can now take effect. This is a huge win for children and parents, for that matter. Again, I stress, I don't have a problem with, if you're an adult and you are a man and want to become female, or you're a female and you want to become a man, that's your decision. Do it as an adult. If you're an adult with children and your child says, mom or dad, or, I want to become a boy or a girl, whatever, I want to change sexes, and you allow that for your child, I would consider that child abuse. Personally, leave that up for the child to determine when they are an adult. What do we define as adult? If you look at a lot of studies, they say males don't really mature until the age of 25. And I'm sure, knowing most of you that are on here, that's probably a true statement, myself included. So I think if you're going to do it, do not allow children under the age of, we'll say 18 for this argument, because most people can join the military, vote, etc. But don't allow them to make those types of decisions as children or as minors. So I think if you're going to allow people to do that, you have to wait till you're at least 18. You're adult, you can make that own decision on your own. Parents with minors cannot make any of those decisions. And if you do, I think parents should be scrutinized for it. And I think they should be charged for child abuse, personally. My personal opinion on that. Not that you guys are here for my personal opinions, but I'm going to give it to me anyway because it's my show. Christina, good morning. How are you? Appreciate you jumping on us, sis. T-Dog, I resent what you say. I bet you do. I bet you do. Let's move on to another one here. Youth sports. This was just one random, no particular article. I just saw this on social media because I saw it on the news the other day. Because the Little League World Series is on. Not that I wasn't engulfed in it or anything like that, but I saw an article, and then I started seeing on social media that there was cheating going on in the Little League World Series. Like, signs were being stolen, and these kids were, giving away signs from pitchers as catchers, and then there's a lot of talk about the toxicity of how parents are. Like, they spend $600 on a baseball bat. I remember as a kid, if I got a brand new baseball bat, it might have been a Walmart special for like $30, and that was expensive at that time. You know what I mean? What are your guys' thoughts on parents and kids sports now? Is there a lot of pressure to put your kids through sports? I look back with Junior. I pushed him to play something. He played football up until like his junior year, and then he decided he wanted to do something else. Franco, what's up, brother? I can't wait to see you tomorrow, man. I can't wait to see you tomorrow. But what's your guys' take on parents pushing their kids to play sports to the point of where it's not fun for them anymore? A serious question. I'm really curious of whatever. Have you as a parent done it yourself? I did. I'll call myself out. I forced Junior to play football. Junior year, he wasn't having it. Didn't like it. I said, find something else. He ran track, cross country, and then he got on a shooting team, which I was all for, because he ended up shooting first in the state of Arizona, and then shot at nationals. And my philosophy was you had to do something. I don't care what it was, but find something. Football was the only thing that was my thing. I kind of pushed that on him until he found shooting and approached me. He was like, "Dad, I don't want to play football. I want to shoot." Good, do it. Let's make it happen. So I think like but I pushed him for years to do something he didn't want to do, and it wasn't fun anymore for him. And I'm seeing a lot of that with other parents and other sports nowadays. True Patriot Outfitters, good morning, brother. How are you? Let's see, our T-Dog says, travel sports are a business and more for profit than they are for the kids nowadays. I would agree with that statement. Franco makes a good one. I'm gonna put this one up here. This is a good one here. Franco said, when the parents treat their kids like the parent is the player, it's time to get out. Yeah. I think as parents, I think it's definitely the parent's fault when you push. Like, ask the kid, why are they wanting to play sports? It's supposed to be fun. It's their youth. I think so many parents nowadays like push because they want them to be the next, Ken Griffey Jr. or whoever the big names in baseball are now, or the next whatever person is famous in whatever sport is now. Ryan Hunt, good morning, sir. How are you? Appreciate you. Christina, it's a lot of pressure. The kids want to play a sport to make the parent proud and to have fun, to do it for themselves, and they struggle to try to get the parent to know because they don't want to fail them. Yeah. Oof. God, that's like a punch in the gut right there. Tina, I'm going to put yours up, sis. That's a good point. Yeah, I think a lot of kids don't want to disappoint their parents, or the parents just force them to do something that the kids don't want to do. And as parents, shame on us, right? T-Dog will throw this up here about losing, and then there's always someone better than you. Yeah. A lot of adults don't. It's sad. Gene, what's up, brother? What do we have here? I'm going to put Gene at 20 years forward. lots of physical challenge with both sports, but getting teens involved in team events and forcing them to try it and stay busy is a solid path. Okay. So I'm kind of on Gene on this one as well. So it's mixed. I love that we're having this conversation. Thank you guys for the comments first off. So my thought process on it, and this is how I told it to, I'm using my example with Little Bird when he was playing football and didn't really want to. I said, you gotta learn how to be a team player. Like he ran track, loved it, loved cross country, individual sport there with track and whatnot. So I wanted him to learn the team side of it, how to play as a team and work as a team. And he did, up until the point where it was just like, it's just not fun anymore. I said, fine, find something else. And that's when he found shooting. So it was a hard decision. And I remember this conversation like it was yesterday, because he approached me. He said, Dad, I don't want to play football anymore. It sucks. I'm not having fun with it. And if you're not, and my pop told me, like, if he's not having fun with it, he's going to end up getting hurt. And then, red flag for me. I was like, wait a minute, like, I don't want my kid getting hurt, even though it's a contact sport and he was good at what he did. But if he's not having fun, why force them to play it if they're not having fun anymore? If you're not having fun, they shouldn't be doing it. Now, granted, I understand you want them to learn like a team side of it, but then my approach to it was find something else then. And he did. I was lucky enough that my son found something. And then the even though shooting is more of an individual thing, he was on a team, and it worked as a team on a lot of different things. So anyway, I wanted to bring up that. A lot of great comments. Let's hear it. Yeah. It's I'll pull that up there, T-Dog. So anyway, I saw this on there, and I'm seeing a lot of pressure on kids today. And I get it. Parents want their kids to be the next Griffey, Michael Jordan, Brett Favre, whatever. And I'm totally I use everybody that's like long retired. That's my era, whatever. Don't judge me. But I think as parents, I think maybe we take a step back and realize what's important. Let's get them involved. One, I think discipline. I think as a society as a whole, we've lost discipline as parents. We kids doing something, they're irritating you, they're bothering you. Here, go play on the tablet, go play on your Xbox, PlayStation, your phone, cell phone, whatever. I think when I was a teacher, I was a substitute teacher for a few years at a high school in Arizona. And when I was talking to the kids, it was the ones that got in trouble a lot, because I did a lot of in-school suspension stuff. The ones that were in trouble were the ones that just wanted discipline in their life. And when you gave them that, they did a complete 180. And again, this is just my experience, but let's hear it, Gene. Many teens turn mom and dad, good thing. Yeah, Gene. Good point, Gene. Good point. So again, I think as parents, we have to look at things and just be like, hey, where are we shifting, whatnot. So anyway, we got to move on. So great comments. Keep them coming. If you guys got more comments about youth sports, I'd love to hear about it. Keep them coming. My next one, I know you guys are going to love this. Trump's AI strategy powers a new government tool. The U.S. General Services Administration, or the GSA, announced USAI. I don't know why I just did that. Whatever. Anyway, an artificial intelligence tool that allows federal agencies to, quote, experiment with and adapt, end quote, AI strategies at fast pace. There he is, David Gordon. You're just in time. I'm talking AI. You're going to love this. Appreciate you jumping on, brother. Upon announcing its AI plan in July, the White House said, quote, winning the AI race will usher in a new golden age of human flourishing, economic competitiveness, and national security for the American people, end quote. Okay, here's the thing. I got to interject with this. Oh, my God. Anytime the White House says this is something to do with national security, that raises a red flag for me. It's like, no, red flag. And when the White House says we're winning in AI, the only thing we're winning at with AI is we're the number one country spending money on it. And we're creating foolish things that keep in mind, you guys have to keep in mind, AI doesn't solve problems. AI speeds up stupid. So if you have a bad if you have a bad process that doesn't work in the manual, then all you're doing is speeding up stupid. That makes sense? Is AI a great tool? Can be, if it's used right, and if whatever the inputs being put in is correct. But we're not the number one country. Our country here, the news outlets here in America will tell you that we are leading the world in AI. We're not. China is. That's a fact. You don't believe? Don't take my word for it. Google it. Watch other news sources outside of the U.S. and I guarantee you will find stuff on this. The U.S. is the number one spender in AI because we spend money on just foolish crap. Anyway, moving on. Sorry. The report details that an American victory in the AI race will unleash a new, quote, information revolution and enable altogether new intellectual achievements, unwavering ancient scrolls once thought unreadable, making breakthroughs in scientific and mathematical theory, and creating new kinds of digital and physical art. It's like a new renaissance. Okay, see, oh God. So here's the thing. We sent people to space back in the 60s. We had, to date, the fastest plane that's ever been created in the SR-71 Blackbird that has since retired. And a big portion is that parts that it uses, those companies are no longer, that made those parts are no longer around. We haven't created anything like that really since. And this AI, we haven't cured cancer. I don't know. I can't. David, what is it? Describe leading in AI. Yeah, you'd have to ask the White House for that, because the White House says we're leading in AI. I look at AI as a whole. I'm going to answer David's questions here. I think of leading in AI also, autonomous vehicles, drones, counting drones. I was just last week, if you saw the show, I was in Austin, Texas, and 2 autonomous unmanned cars, those Waymos, I think is the company it's called. It's Waymo, Waymo. It's like a taxi service, no driver. Now they have them in Phoenix. They've had them in Arizona for several years. Texas is really big. Austin's got a dozen of them. I laughed my ass off because one of them got stuck, and it took it 15 minutes to figure out how the hell to get out of this parking lot. It was hilarious. And I had a great conversation. I was at Fort Rucker night before. I was up in Enterprise, Alabama, up at Fort Rucker, and I was talking about um, autonomous helicopters. Are they using that? And they're testing a few right now. But the one thing my source says is they will never go pick up casualties from the battlefield or anything like that because there's no human factor that can be calculated there in case of emergency. So if you lose a helicopter that's got supplies on it or something like that, if you let me rephrase that. If you lose a autonomous vehicle, then the government write it off. We'll just build another one. If you use and he was using an example like comparing that to a human flying the helicopter. If if a helicopter goes down and human life is lost, that's far more greater than if an autonomous vehicle or autonomous helicopter with some supplies on it crashes, then you just build another helicopter, right? Anyway, so I think of leading AI, you're looking at drone, any type of autonomous vehicle. You look at robotics, what's being used now. There's a lot of manufacturing that take place with just straight robots and AI software programs and stuff like that. David, I hope that, I know I'm kind of on a soapbox, but I hope that answers the question. I would like to know more about what the White House says as far as leading in AI. I think China is leading in AI because of all of the different programs and things that they have there. I know you're going to ask me, so I will, as soon as I get home next week, I'll start looking up stuff and I'll send you an email. But I look at this AI report and statement, and the USAI from GSA, the new golden age of human flourishing, and it's national security. They're already, you go to, when's the last time anybody's been to an airport? How many of you that watch fly often? They want you to do all the facial recognition. China's been doing facial recognitions for the last decade. Cameras and granted, we've done a lot of facial recognitions too, probably I would say since the 80s. When you think about it, think about movies that have come out and, oh, that would never happen. The government never do that. Yeah, they've been doing it for years, for decades. So, but now it's getting more and more, and we're trying to adapt more of those programs here in the United States. You go to an airport, prime example. You don't have to show your ID anymore. They just take a facial piece. And I've seen guys that say, I don't want my face, I'll show you my ID. And TSA gives them shit about it. Excuse me, give you crap about it. So where do you draw the line in this stuff? How do you, where's the line in the sand? Anyway, AI. You guys know I'm going to talk about AI. I'm not, Moving on. What do we got? Hey, like I said, I'm down here in Clearwater, Florida right now. Sunday night, OCC Roadhouse. We got the Salute to America, the second annual Salute to American Heroes, and benefit concert. HMG is honored to be here. We got a table here this weekend. If you are in and around Florida, or if you're not in Florida and you want to fly down here this weekend, Sunday, doors open at 5. Unless you get a VIP ticket, you can go to salutetoamericanheroes.com right now. VIP tickets, I believe, are like $38, $40, something like that. Get them, and you can come in at 4. Meet the celebrities that are going to be there. It's kind of like they do a meet and greet, take some pictures. OCC Roadhouse and the MAG Agency, along with Operation Healing Heroes and Operation Barbecue Relief, to host second annual Salute to American Heroes. This event will be filmed for a later broadcast on an episode of Operation Healing Heroes, which is on the Discovery Channel. I'm looking forward to sitting down with Operation Healing Heroes and talk to them a little bit about all the great things that they do for our nation's heroes over at that organization. So Sunday night, they're filming this for an episode on the Discovery Channel. It's going to showcase inspirational tribute to humanitarians as well as an awards ceremony honoring American heroes and veterans. When is it happening? This Sunday, August 17th, OCC Roadhouse Museum right here in Clearwater, Florida. I'm going to put maybe I'm not, maybe I can, I don't know. I'm trying to multitask. Doesn't always work very well. There is the link in the comments below. So come check us out. It's going to be awesome. Your boy's going to be here. I'm going to be doing lots of filming. We'll try to go live in between some of the shows. I know we have some shows going on Sunday night, so we'll see. I'll definitely get some videos and post some pictures of it as well. I talked about hero stories. You guys have heard me bring it up for the past month. So if you have a hero out there that you want me to spotlight, bring them up. I'm gonna nominate my little brother, Bubba. Jay Hellickson. He's a police officer up in Wisconsin. That's all I'm gonna say. And he's been doing a lot in our hometown community up there with some kids. He got recognized in one of the local papers recently. So that is our hero story for the week. Is my little brother, Bubba Hellickson, Bubba, but for namesake, I'm gonna call him Bubba on here. Malachias. Now I know you're here in Florida, man, and I'm over in Clearwater. So let's shoot me a text. Let me know how far you are, because I'd love to see you now that you're down here. If you got some time, man, I appreciate you jumping on. New shows. Let's talk about some of the new shows that have joined HMG here recently. She Bird the Vibe, Her Laugh, My Heart. Let me tell you a little bit about this show, guys. Ashley and I believe it's her oldest daughter, Mia. Anyway, Ashley, I've known Ashley for the latter part of a decade. And this show is sweet. Mother, daughter coming together, creating a legacy, talking about their legacy and leaving a legacy. And some of the conversations, these two are a riot. You guys are going to love this. This show is going live, I believe, the first week of September. I met with them when I was in Austin, Texas last week. So great. I'm excited to have them on. So welcome them. Stay tuned for more with them. Also, we have Vet SOS. I've talked a little bit about this. They have several series of shows through Vet SOS, and you can watch them live on their YouTube channels as well. Go to Vet SOS on YouTube. But now you can listen to their audio right here on Heroes Media Group. And that's who we're actually going to start off with this week. So Vet SOS this week, they have special guests, Mary Fisk. She's a Marine Corps veteran and a student veteran career counselor at Penn State University, who's on a mission to ensure every student veteran has a solid plan before graduation. It's an awesome episode. I love it. Check it out, Vet SOS Podcast. Double S Podcast with our man, Gene Campbell. I know Gene, if he was still on here. True Patriot Outfitters, that's his organization. We got some stuff coming up in 2026. Let me tell you, folks. He did a pre-recorded show because Gene travels as much as I do. Gene's constantly on the go. He had Mike Hauser and Stacy Jordan from Working Man's Kayak Fishing joining the show on this pre-recorded show. Mike's a USMC veteran. And then we also had Mr. Stacy Jordan, and they talk about their unique fishing series that they've done with Working Man's Kayak Fishing. So check it out. It's a great show. Their show is also live every, I want to say Sunday night on Heroes Media Group as well, or follow them at True Patriot Outfitters. What do we have next? The disgruntled PM this week. So what's my problem? An exec's take on finding your project's why. This week, Ed Bako, I hope I said his name right, who shares his diverse background and insights on project management from executive perspective. Jesus. Ed discusses the disconnect between project managers and executives. How many of you out there have had this problem? The importance of understanding the real customer and the need for effective communication and risk management. This is great. This is what it boils down to is project managers and the executives communicating. Imagine that. T-Dog, you're enrolled at PSU right now? I didn't know that. How is it that I didn't know that? All right, next up, Speak Up, Show Up, Lead podcast, the Resilient Leadership podcast with JJ Hardy. This week he's talking about true leadership isn't about titles. It's about transformation. I love this, and so will you. Make sure you check it out. Keep It Spiritually Simple with Sandra McAllis. This week you're talking about be careful with what you allow in your psyche. Oh, excuse me. Next up, Faith, Valor, Growth. This is an emotional one. This one launched just this morning. It's called Breaking Free. It's a veteran's battle with Adderall. Host Dominic Licata bears his soul in this episode, sharing his 20-year battle with an Adderall addiction and his path to recovery. I'm telling you, if those of you out there either suffer with some type of addiction or you know somebody that does, this is one of those episodes I encourage you to listen to. Dom's a good dude. He's got a heart of gold, and he really put himself out there on this. I'm proud of Dom when you watch this, because I know you will. I'm proud of you for doing what you did. Next up, we got the strategic veteran with Adam Peters. What if the real fight isn't keeping people safe? It's teaching them they can protect themselves long after you're gone. This week, Mark Fritzwater spent 2 decades as a Green Beret, leading elite teams through Afghanistan, Latin America, and Eastern Europe. He carried the weight of loss, the lessons of mentorship, and the quiet mission to bring warriors home better than he found them. Now, he runs I-68 Counseling Group and the Cutting Edge Training Facility in Colorado, turning tactical training into a sanctuary where men, women, and families find strength, skill, and unshakable confidence. This is a good one. It's called the Strategic Veteran. What do we have here? David, Adderall is so misused by the medical industry. True statement. 100% agree with you on that. And I believe Dom talks a little bit about it in his episode. I've known a couple of people now that it's like, oh, I got Adderall. I'm using Adderall for my ADD, but oh God, yeah. Another show topic maybe for another week, but it's crazy. David, if you want to listen to it, it's called Faith, Valor, Growth is the podcast. Next up, we have Homefront Sip Reps. Got some new stuff coming up. Stay tuned for that. JMac podcast. Check out his Sandbox series that Josh is doing down there in Arizona. The Senior Living Guide. David, Ken, this is probably for us. This week, they dive into the world of medical alert devices, where many of us, it's not funny, is because I'm calling out my buddies, but they dive into the medical alert devices where many of us remember. You guys remember that commercial? I've fallen and I can't get up. Well, it's kind of what we're talking about here. But it can be the stigma that is hard to shake. And the truth is that modern medical alert devices are light years ahead of the devices that were advertised. This week, Laura Alejo, she's the vice president of business development at Life Station, is the name of the company. Laura shares insights on how these devices have evolved from simple emergency buttons to sophisticated tools that promote independence and safety for seniors. Oh, okay. Maybe just me then, fellas. I didn't know I'd strike a nerve on that one. I apologize. Since I was called the youngster in an earlier comment, I thought maybe this would be something. I'm just, listen, Life Station, good company. Senior Living Guide, I think it's a podcast that everybody should listen to because you have family members that are getting older. And we want to watch out for those said family members. That's all I'll say. Next up, we got Patriots Inside the Wire. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights, 4 to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. They're doing a slew of guests this week. I can't even name them all. Go check them out, Patriots Inside the Wire and the Two-Step Drive. Next up, the Arms Room. Every Monday, 2 p.m. Arizona time. This week, they're discussing how to improve your overall shooting skills. Those of you that shoot, or those of you that are just getting into shooting, this is a great episode with a lot of nuggets. And regardless if you've been shooting for years, great nuggets in this episode. Check it out. It's called The Arms Room Show. Next up, Misfit Nation podcast. I'm talking about the Tuesday crew. So Misfit Nation, they do a couple of shows each week. This particular one is the Tuesday crew. They have Dr. Matt Coots on. He talking about intelligence and how to lead in any situation, talking about turning adversity into advantage. He talks about his personal fight with cancer and how it redefined his mission. And then also talks about helping others lead themselves before leading others. This is a cool episode. Check it out. Misfit Nation podcast. Label Free podcast got new stuff up. We got your 6 at 6 with People's Patriot Project every Sunday night, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Always do a round table of good shows there. Check them out. Other Side of the Firewall, Pushing Back Chaos has got some new stuff coming up. MSEC podcast, our friends with Military Child Education Coalition. They were off for July. They came back and they're already fired up and ready to go. They got new stuff out. Check them out. Chasing Happiness. Our buddy Ryan's got some new stuff coming. Rise Up, Voices from the Front Line. Got some new stuff coming. Stay tuned for all of that. There he is, David Willis, Homefront Sit Rep podcast. David, when you got something else coming up here soon, I do believe. So I appreciate you jumping on. Shout out to Jim Neary's Bait and Tackle out there in Pennsylvania. Appreciate you guys. Finn Tactical, great organization. They love our first responders and veteran community. Check them out. My tax fella, the best money I spent as a business owner is getting taxes done and bookkeeping done because I suck at numbers. I say this to every business owner. Find out what your weakness is and fill that with somebody that's an expert at it. My tax fella has helped me out for the last decade. Go check them out. Freedom People, VA Claim Builder, From the Farm, all great organizations. Check them out. And then, of course, HMG Beverage. I will be finally back home early next week, God willing, after being on the road for the last 7 weeks. And looking forward to getting back into roasting some coffee. We got some shows that we're going to be serving coffee at here this fall. So a lot of good stuff coming up. New shows coming up in September. But this weekend, it's about our heroes. David, yeah, it's been crazy busy, man. A lot of it this summer was been a unique year. I'll talk about this real quick. Been a unique year because my son graduated. I'm a family guy. Had been a single parent for 15 years. My son graduated college, commissioned. He is now starting seminary school. So that was kind of the focus this summer, and it was a unique summer because I didn't think I was going to get to spend, a few weeks with him, let alone a month and a half with him. Got him moved in. And now I'm back at it, and not that I've been working this entire time just in different locations and whatnot. With this business, the coffee business, I got somebody back there filling orders. while we were gone. I don't talk much about the coffee stuff. That's going to be changing here soon. So you'll see more coffee promos, self promos coming up this fall here with HMG Beverage as well. But it's been good. I'm blessed, and that's the other thing. You look at life and you see what's going on, and it's easy to get wrapped up in the chaos and stuff. But take a step out of that and realize what you have going on around you and how blessed you are. I'm blessed to have each and every one of you guys on here. The shows that are on here, Ken, David Gordon, the guys I served with, those two guys were mentors of mine, people I looked up to way back in the day. I love the fact that they jump on here and show support. It means the world to me. David, family first. Yeah, I get it. But to me, you guys are family as well. HMG has its family, not only just the shows, but the viewers and the listeners that put their trust in, that show up each and every week here is family as well. So that being said, a big thank you. Stay tuned because I got more stuff coming this weekend. I'll be going live and posting pictures and videos from the Salute to American Heroes event Sunday night. In the meantime, until then, get off the phones, get off the computers, get outside and enjoy the weekend. I know for most of us that have kids, school's getting ready it's either back in session now or it's getting ready to gear up. So if the kids aren't back in school yet, take this, last few weekends or whatnot, get outside, do something fun with the family, protect your minds, smile a lot. God bless you. God bless America. I will see you guys from the home office next week. Love you all. Take care. We'll see you guys soon.